Hey guys, it's Rich with your Monday Spot and Pagan Perspectives. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions today, and I'm sorry, but this is going to be a little bit late by the time I get it up. I'm actually cooking dinner right outside here, and so I figured I'd do a video outside and keep an eye on the grill and everything. So without further ado, here we go. First of all, these all should be pretty quick and easy answers, but editing and everything's it's probably gonna be late tonight that this comes up. So, just so you know. First one comes from Alyssa Pagan Proud. I'm guessing it's a female. I can't stand silence. Is that required for meditation? I know that I have read books that said I do. I also wonder if it is bad that I don't do a lot of rituals and more spells than anything else. I was just wondering if that would seem wrong to others. The first one, you don't have to be silent during meditation. A lot of people will actually drum and have a drum circle as a form of meditation, or rattles or bells or something like that. Some people dance in order to get into that deep meditative state. So, you know, whatever makes you feel relaxed and opens your mind to the experience of life and the world, and gives you that deeper understanding of yourself and whatever you're trying to come in contact with, that would be a meditative process for you. It can be different than others. Some people find that sitting still and just being still and, you know, seeing the images come through your mind, you think about them, then you let them go. You know, some people find that a lot more relaxing, and I can do that to a point. Sometimes I get I know Annie calls it the monkey brain, where your mind just ends up going all over the place, and I get that sometimes. But once I'm able to finally come down from the energetic, I'm always thinking about this, and this. You know, once I come down from that and I'm in that nice, calm, peaceful state, it's very relaxing, and I found that that is the best way for me to do a meditation. Your second one was about you doing more spells than rituals. That you don't do a lot of rituals, but you do a lot of spells. I know that Cara just did a video on this. I think it was last week or the week before last, on her personal channel. I'm sorry, I keep on looking over to make sure Coda's still in the yard. But I know that she did a video on this a couple weeks ago, and basically said, and I totally agree with her, said that you can do a spell whenever you feel like it's necessary. If you think a little tiny spell, like a positive affirmation, is something that you should be doing at that point in time to help you out, then so be it. Do your positive affirmation. If you feel like doing a full-blown spell, do a full-blown spell. If you don't really feel like you're into the ritual mood, that you don't really feel like you want to do a ritual, do something as easy as lighting a candle, or, you know, just get in your meditative state, however it may be, and just be at peace with the god or goddess that you choose to worship, or that chooses for you to worship them, vice versa, whichever. So, okay, the next one is from S. Faith J. The question is, are commanding oils ethical to use, or do they go against another person's free will? If you're using a commanding oil, and I'm not sure exactly what you mean by a commanding oil, I would assume that would be an oil that, you know, commands, you know, peace, or a certain mind frame, like a love oil, something like that. I've never heard the term commanding oil, but that's where I'm going with it. If it's not that, then I hope Cara, Annie, Eric, whoever else is on this week. I hope they cover it. So, or I hope they've heard this term before, because I've never heard this term before. If you're using a commanding oil that is supposed to alter a person's mind, excuse me, or supposed to make them feel a certain way, then I would consider that going against another person's free will. I'm very big into that. I don't like doing anything that messes with somebody else's free will unless they know for a fact that I am doing it for them. Such as whenever my boyfriend went to apply for a job, I did a positive affirmation. I asked him first, I said, do you mind if I do this? Do you mind if I do a little ritual and, to help you get this job? He said, fine. I said, okay. Consider it done. So, can't speak. The same thing would go for any oils or herbs that you use, any, sorry, I got a text. Any oils, herbs, incense that you choose to give to somebody else or to burn for somebody else, just make sure that it doesn't interfere with the way their mind might process something, or something to that effect, where, okay, say this a different way. Think of it as a spell or a ritual. Would you do that without asking that person? Me personally, I would not. So, trying to move right along here. J2, I almost said 12. Should you write in your book of shadows every day, or only when you are doing the craft? For me personally, I only write in my book of shadows whenever I have everything laid out exactly the way I want to write it. For me, a journal is something that I would write in more every day than my book of shadows, only because I have a bound book of shadows. I don't want to write in it and then be like, ooh, I wish I didn't write in there that little piece that day. Oh, I need to take that out because I wrote this this ritual format down before. It didn't really work well for me, or I wrote that incense recipe in there and it really didn't smell that great. I really don't want to use it again, that type of thing. I don't want to put stuff in there that I'm not sure I want in there for permanent. At least one of my book of shadows is permanently bound. So I also like really nice, neat handwriting, and I don't always have nice, neat handwriting. So unless I actually try, if I really try, it looks very nice. But I'm real picky whenever it comes to writing things down that are supposed to be permanent or supposed to be, legible for later use. And the final question that we have today is from Fairy Obsession. They write, wondering if you guys could address the questions of practicing magic and being a part of ritual while pregnant. They read Dion Virtune's book, The Work and Training of the Initiate, and she warns against being a part of ritual while being pregnant, for a possibility of having a fairy child being born. Do you think it's potentially dangerous? Thoughts, comments, opinions, thanks. And the thing with having or being with child or being pregnant, whenever you're doing ritual, there's several things. And excuse me, I am going to smoke a little. I just ate dinner and everything. I'm filming the last question about a half an hour, 45 minutes after. So, but yes, there's several things that you have to look out for if you're pregnant and you're doing ritual. Of course, I don't know personally as many health effects and everything that there can be with, or that most women will know with doing a ritual. First thing that I know you have to look out for is what type of oil that they're using. I know there are certain oils that should not be used by pregnant females. There are certain herbs that should not be used or handled by the pregnant. And, you know, as far as doing ritual, I don't see any problem with it. I don't really know of any side effects. The whole fairy child thing, that seems kind of odd to me. But, I mean, if you follow that path, then I guess you would believe it. But it's not something that I personally would think would happen. But as far as doing ritual while pregnant, do watch out for what oils you use and what herbs you use while doing ritual. Make sure that you aren't, you know, straining yourself, you're not on your feet too long, things like that. Things that can potentially harm your baby. If you have any questions, of course, as Eric will probably also say, go see a doctor. You know, they know what's best. Tell them your situation, tell them what you're going to be doing during the ritual, and make sure it's okay. You know, you don't want to have any harmful effects to the baby, and you also don't want to have any health effects to yourself, which is also another point that I want to make. Anytime you're doing anything with oils or herbs, especially, and this goes for everybody, make sure that you check to see what the health effects are. There are certain herbs I know, cinnamon, if it gets into your eyes, it burns like a mother. I'll tell you that. And I believe the oil can, on a lot of people, a little bit of cinnamon oil causes a rash. I mean, stuff like that. You have to educate yourself before you use the herbs or oils that you want to use. Make sure that they're okay. Make sure that when you're burning it, that it doesn't have any respiratory effects. I'm one to talk about respiratory effects, I know. So, yes, make sure that you check to see what you're going to use, make sure that it's healthy to use, and make sure that it's not going to harm you. Whether you're pregnant or not, you really should do that. But whenever you're pregnant, you want to make sure even more that you're not using anything that will harm your baby. So, as always, consult a doctor before using any of them. And I think that's it. So I'm going to wrap this up. Until next time, may your ancestors be with you. Bye-bye.